Hi and welcome to your Thai curry practical. So as always, I've washed my hands, I'm wearing my apron. If you've got long hair, you need to make sure that's tied back, and I've used a spray and a dishcloth to clean my work surface. Okay, before you start your practical, you need to spend a little bit of time doing your mise en place, which means getting everything in its place. So we're going to go through our equipment, and if you get these ready before you start your practical, it will make sure that you work in an organised manner and will help you achieve success. So the equipment that you will need for this practical is a wooden spoon, a tablespoon, a frying pan, a chopping board, a sharp knife, a measuring jug, and a grater. You will also need a tin opener, but you will not have one of these each. These will be dotted around the classroom for your use. In terms of ingredients, there are some things that you will definitely need and some things which you can use to adapt the recipe. So you will all need to have some Thai curry paste, some coconut milk, you'll need some oil, garlic, and onion. On your recipe card it says that you will need some chicken, so 2 chicken breasts, sugar snap peas, I've got munch 2 today, and you also need some coriander. You'll also see on your recipe card it says that you need a lime. I haven't got that today, but you can add that and I will tell you when to do that during the recipe. Other things that you might like to bring in is an alternative to the chicken, so a vegan chicken for example, or a sweet potato or a butternut squash would work really nicely with this. You could bring in peppers, but we will speak to about that before you do your practical. So step 1 is to chop your chicken into bite-sized chunks. When I'm doing this, I'm going to be using a fork for personal reasons. I don't like to touch raw meat, but you can use it using the bridge and claw method as you've seen previously in previous demonstrations. So you want to make sure that you are chopping these, as said, into bite-sized pieces. And this will be nice to eat, and also it will ensure that your chicken cooks evenly when it's being fried. So roughly this size, and you want to keep going until all of that is done. Once you've prepared your chicken, you need to prepare your station for frying. So you want to add a tablespoon of oil into your frying pan, like so. Make sure you have your chicken and your chopping board close by, and you will also need a wooden spoon. I'm going to put this one on, so as you've seen previously, this is rear right. I'm going to push in the dial, turn it counterclockwise, anti-clockwise, and press the ignition for a count of 1, 2, 3, and make sure that my flame is on. If it's not on, it might be that the top of the hob is not in place properly, so let me just try that again. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and turn the heat down. Making sure when you put the frying pan onto the heat that the handle is pointing away from the other hobs, and if you're on the front, making sure that it's not facing here so we don't have any accidents. So once you have put the pan on, you're going to add your chicken to the frying pan, like so. And once that's into the frying pan, you can then go off and prepare your other vegetables. So at this point, to prevent cross-contamination, we need to make sure that we clean our chopping board and clean our knife. We want to keep the area for preparing raw meats and vegetables separate. So initially, if we keep the meat moving, and as you saw there, it starts to turn white. If when you're preparing your vegetables, you do it really close to your work surface so that you can keep an eye on it. If you take the temperature down to a lower heat, then hopefully that won't burn or stick, but you do need to be close by to keep an eye on the chicken, and you were looking for it to turn white. So you'll now be preparing your additional vegetables. The recipe calls for spring onions, but I'm using an onion today. So you are using the bridge method and chopping down through the middle like so. Not too hard. And then if you peel the outer layers off, so the onions, these are not the pieces that we eat. And it's up to you whether you slice or dice, it's your dish. So you think about how you want it to look, how crunchy you want your vegetables, etc. And then using the claw method to take off the end, and I'm going to slice this today. So I'm going to chop in down like so, all evenly sliced so that they cook at a similar time. I'm going to show you now how to prepare the mange tout or the sugar snap peas. So make sure you clear your work surface. The vegetable ends that you don't use can go into the bin at this point. You might need to wipe your chopping board or your knife. For the mange tout, again, it's entirely up to you how you want to do this. You can chop them in half like so, or in half lengthwise. I'm going to do these just in half like this. And depending on which additional vegetables you bring in will depend on how many extra vegetables that you need. So for example, you might need half a pepper if you are using mushrooms and sugar snap peas, but you might want to go for a full pepper if that's the only vegetable that you are using, so it is a balanced dish. So now we're going to prepare the garlic. So you need 1 garlic clove. You're going to hold that in a mini claw grip just with your thumb and finger and take it off the end like so. And to make it easier to peel, if you hold your knife horizontal, so parallel to the chopping board, and pop it on top of the garlic clove, use your hand to press down. It makes it easier to peel like so, because we don't eat the outer skin. And you're then going to grate it. So on the smallest side of the grater, you're going to just move the garlic up and down like so. And as you can see, grated garlic on your fingers. It's a good idea at the end there, so you can chop these pieces up. If you use the knife to go inside and scrape that down onto your chopping board like so. And as I said, any of the bigger pieces can just get chopped down. Your vegetables and your onions can then get added to your pan, so as you can see, it's white. I'm going to add in my onion and garlic initially and fry that for a few minutes to help with the flavour. And after a few minutes have passed, I will add in my additional ingredients alongside my curry paste. Okay, so now once your chicken has turned white, you will add your curry paste. So if you use 1 spoon, some people like it to be a little spicier. This mixture is quite spicy, but if you pop that in, a little bit of a stir. You can then add your additional vegetables, so your sugar snap peas, your peppers, mushrooms, whatever you're going for. Like so. And stir fry these for a further few minutes before you add in your coconut milk. Okay, so coconut milk usually comes in a 400ml tin, and we need 200ml. So if you give it a shake first, and then open it using your can opener. The can opener goes on the side. Put the grip together, the handles together, and turn. This will obviously be very sharp when you're done, so please be careful in taking it off, and that can go straight into the bin. I'm going to measure out 200ml, so I'm going to take my measuring jug and make sure that it's on a flat surface. If I get quite down to eye level, then I should be able to pour to 200, like so. And then this is going to get added to my mixture. Just pour this in. Mix. So, and make sure that you turn it down to a simmer on the heat. At this point, it will start to thicken and the vegetables and the chicken will continue to cook. You can at this point start to do a little bit of tidying up, a little bit of washing up, because you will want to leave this to thicken for about 15 minutes. Coming back to it every now and again just to check that it's not sticking. You might need to adjust the amount of coconut milk in there if it starts to get a little bit dry. So you need to use your own judgment on the amount of vegetables or chicken that you have used. So once your curry is done, it should look a little bit like so. Nice and tasty. And you then want to put that into your container and sprinkle it with coriander. You could also add your lime juice at this stage. So I'm just going to sprinkle it with coriander, which adds to the flavour. It's a garnish, so it makes it look nice and appetising. And then enjoy with rice or your preferred side.